Good morning, all of you. Let me introduce. I think most of you know me, even though I will introduce myself. My name is Vimal. I am working as a HSC expert, HSC manager with core consultant in BSR. Right? So today, the purpose of our gathering is to discuss something about HSC challenges and HSC management in new construction project, right? And then we will also put some light on the difference between the construction project and running project, process plant, and some key skill required to in order to become a good and successful HSC person. So these are the things we are going to discuss. If you can see these two photographs, photograph in left, 1932, this was during the construction of the building in New York. 240 meters above, people are taking lunch in construction site. Yeah. 1932, whiskey bottle is in hand. Some people are smoking at the very left. Two people. People are reading newspaper. This was the days. This was the safety in 1932. But the similar recreation was done in 2011 in London. 755 square meter height above the ground. You can see the difference. People are having safety helmet, people are having full body safety harness, they are having reflective vest. This picture was taken, the place was having minus 10-degree temperature, right? So that is the reason everyone is wearing a jacket. Yeah. And the safety harness is inside the jacket. And many harnesses are visible anywhere in the world. People are smoking, people are alcohol consumption is no more acceptable. So the world is changing. What is acceptable today, tomorrow it may not be acceptable. After 5 years, may not be acceptable. So we have to accept the change in the industries. We have to accept the change in HSC. Then we have to accept the change in the way we are working. So today what is acceptable, tomorrow may not be acceptable. So even people used to say, oh no, we are working from last 10 years. We are working for last 20 years. We always do like this. Yeah. Yes, we used to do like this, but now the world is changed. So it may not be acceptable now anymore. Right?
Because that's sensitive picture,
yeah,
right?
Very sensitive.
Yeah, because the picture yeah. Picture of the right hand.
Yeah. Can you take that?
Where the last slide, you know, they put the harness.
This movement. You see, they have put the harness somewhere here. Somewhere here. And there is some arrangement. And most of them are having harness and they are wearing a jacket. And the back side, they have hooked somewhere in the structure in the eyeballs.
Actually, I think each thing is not unsafe, right?
Not unsafe, no. It's a totally safe and purposefully they created. So we are just seeing the difference. In 1932,
they don't create, right?
They created. They created to so demonstrate the change. We are going to discuss the safety challenges in new construction project. If we start the new and unskilled workers, right? In any project, there will be mobilization of huge number of contractor and people together in order to meet the schedule. So many oil and gas companies are having the standard to have a minimum. The contractor should bring the qualified and experienced people to do the work, etc. But in the construction project, very difficult to for contractor to comply this requirement. They for unskilled workers like for civil workers, they most of them they came from remote areas, or small villages, from the farmer, and many kind of people contractor mobilize to the construction site, and there may be a lot of challenges, right, to deal with unskilled workers. Workers welfare facility. To establish a worker welfare facility like worker rest center, right? To the place where they used to go for lunch, also for urination, toilet facility. These are the basic facility any construction project should have. But the many mega project, even I been involved in many mega project where people, the worker strength was more than 100,000. But we face a lot of problems related to worker welfare facility. In fact, everything was well established in the procedure, but when it comes to the implementation path, it was really very tough to meet the requirement, right? If we are lacking with workers' welfare facility, what will happen? For example, if we don't have a rest shelter at the project site, where people will going to take the rest, they are going to take the rest below the equipment because they are looking for the shelter. When they go for the tea break or lunch break, so they are looking for the shelter. If there is no shelter, they will go below the crane, below the trailer, below the truck, and when the truck or crane move, they don't see who is below, and they may run over the vehicle, over the worker. So I have seen many accidents related to this uh, particular cases. So we have to be very careful while starting the new construction project. We should have a good welfare facility to avoid workers taking rest at unsafe locations. Many times people take rest below the pipe racks where we have simultaneous work is going on. So sometimes contractors stop the work late, sometimes they start very early before or during the lunchtime. So there is a chance of falling object. Even there are a lot of materials contractor keep unsafely at the height. So during the wind, even during the wind, the materials can roll and fall on the top of the workers. Because mainly when they take the rest, they remove the PPE. They want to relax. So they remove the helmet and they lay down on the floor. So this is things we need to also take into consideration. Civil works and excavation. Once the contractors mobilize the people, we need to screening that they should have a good experience, minimum experience. If they are not, we should give them safety induction or the basic safety awareness training before mobilizing. We should have a good welfare facility as we discussed, and then civil works. Civil works, mainly, the people involved, unskilled people, they are involved in the works, including truck drivers, and equipment operators, etc. Civil works mainly begin with the excavation, from medium to very deep excavation, and then there will be like reinforcement work, steel reinforcement. During the excavation, depending on type of the soil, right? Depending on the type of the soil, we have to see the soiling and benching, proper benching arrangement, otherwise excavated soil may collapse. And also, during the excavation, we need to make sure that all the excavated soil or the stone, they have been kept at least minimum 1.5 meter away from the excavated edge, because otherwise the weight of the excavated soil will lead to collapse to the edge of the excavated edge. So all the excavated materials will be 1.5 meter away from the excavated edge. Also, there should be a hard barricade, some warning lights in the dark, because if you make a hard barricade with scaffold, daytime it is okay, but in the night time there will be a lot of vehicle movement and people working around the clock, they will not see your hard barricade. So there should be a light, warning lights at the deep excavated area particularly to highlight the hazard, and the vehicle also, operator should be in position to see the hazard, right? Other thing then comes to the access to the excavated area. Because if you see many times the very large foundation, maybe 20 meter, 30 meter, 50 meter long, very deep excavation, maybe 10 meter depth, 5 meter depth, and 30 meter long, like a pipe rack. Pipe rack excavation normally you see very long, 50 meter long, 30 meter long. So that time, see, we have to see that proper access is provided, right? Need to have a proper access in order to make sure the people accessing safely. Reinforcement handling, depending on the size of the foundation, there will be a lot of reinforcement handling. You can keep the previous one.
Yeah.
Yeah, reinforcement handling. This is the area where majority of accident happens. Depending on the type, size of the reinforcement, many times they involve the crane, to ship the materials. So there will be moving equipments, unauthorized operation of the equipments. Many times happen, mostly because people, those who are helper or flagmen, they are assisting the equipments. They used to operate the equipments. They don't have a license, they are not authorized to even operate, even though they want to learn and they operate the equipment. Overloading of equipments while loading the reinforcement, etc. Overloading of equipments also happen. Concreting also is one of the challenging tasks. When the concreting start for the large foundation, it may be for the whole day sometimes. So the workers remain unrest many times because of the long working hours. Proper lighting arrangement should be there. There will be like vibrators for the concrete. Vibrators should have a proper earthing because it's operated by electricity, right? And the equipments coming to deliver the concrete. To deliver the concrete, equipment also we need to see that it should be a 1.5 meter, 2 meter away from the edge. Otherwise, there is a possibility the equipment itself may fall inside the excavated trench. So these are the things we have to keep into consideration. Insect bite, like a snake or scorpion, or even many times dog bites in the construction areas, because sometimes there is no control of the food waste. People eat and throw the things here and there, and dog and even pig. In India, I experienced two times dog bite to the
Dog bite.
dog bite, yeah, and two times the pig, the black pig,
Yeah.
the forest pig.
Yeah.
The pig also bite the engineers.
Oh,
Yeah.
pigs can enter into the site.
Yeah, yeah. Because it's a very huge construction site, 60 kilometers long.
Oh.
So it's very difficult. Sometimes the fencing work is going on,
Yeah.
so they can enter very easily. Traffic also is one of the biggest challenge during the particularly during the construction stage. Right? Vehicle collision, rush driving, people used to drive very fast. Also, the parking arrangement, we need to have a proper parking arrangement. Otherwise, after completion of the job, people will park the vehicle here and there. And in the night, if we some have emergency, the fire vehicles, ambulance may not have access to reach to the working location. Because night time we may have very limited activity, like concreting. But daytime you have so many trucks, hundreds of trucks, and when they go, they park here and there, haphazardly. There is no dedicated parking area. In the night time, we are doing concreting or very specific work, welding or maybe erection, some limited work in the night. So we need to have proper access to the, in case of emergency, all this construction equipment should be parked in dedicated area. So coupling of the vehicles into excavated area, then working at height. Working at height is also, the major hazard. Working in construction or any industries while working at height. Fall from height, the upper for person, these are the two common hazards. Adverse weather conditions, sometimes very heavy wind, very heavy rain. Material handling at height. Sometimes we lift the material with the crane. Sometimes we lift the material with the rope. Right?
How about the same one?
Yeah, simultaneous operation, CMOS
Yes.
operation, working one
Yeah.
above the another, CMOS operation. This has to be avoided, but in construction it's not possible, not practicable, or we can say it's not possible to avoid, but we can control, but we cannot avoid.
Yeah.
Because the owner has invested millions of dollars,
Yeah.
and the schedule has to be met. So as a safety profession, they will say, hire you to help us, not to stop the work. So we have to give the solution. Like some critical work, we can shift 1 hour or 2 hour Some work we can do in day, some work we can do in night. Sometimes we can have a full day platform, scaffolding. So anything can fall and remain in the platform and other people below they can walk. Sometimes we can put a safety net to even small falling object like scaffolding pipe, or scaffolding board, or scaffolding clamp, etc. This can be catched in the safety net, and other people can continue work safely at the below. So this sort of arrangement we need to do to prevent synops. Even many projects, we realize they nominated some synops coordinator.
Yeah.
Their job, yeah, synops coordinator.
Yeah.
Their job is to, yeah, their job is to just coordinate the synops operations. They will coordinate with the, both the construction manager because one you have a civil construction manager, one is a mechanical, one is a structure, one is a piping. Right? Yeah.
And then during the hour, we have a lot of distraction.
Yeah, synops. Yeah.
And then when I did the research, finally, normally for example, in order to conduct the book tomorrow, today, after the next we put the meeting.
Meeting. Yeah.
Small meeting.
Yes.
Recording this, the different job. So very important.
Very important. Yes.
So at the area 2 during the turnaround, we have some problem with the same off, right?
Yeah.
And I think better we have a coordinator for same off. Like,
Then missing weight protection is also one of the major thing happen particularly with the scaffold, and then in the construction project after completion of the ceiling there will be structural activity, erection of structural beams, and then you put a gratings. The moment you start putting grating installation, there is a major risk is fall from height and grating openings. If you don't pay attention, definitely there will be a fatality. In Reliance last J3 project, I think we have in my area there was more than 64,000 square meter gratings. But luckily we have organized, we have handled very safely, and there was no even one single first aid injury on grating installation. Grating installation is really very risky work. So that time we need to put some temporary edge protection. For example, this is a large platform, right? So the contractor has to put the grating here. So what, first of all, we have to divide the platform in two by putting the handrails here. In the central, we can have a temporary path with the scaffolding at the central. And the both side, we can have a grating installation. So we have a one end to another end, one safe access should be there with the scaffold. And the both side, we can put a scaffold.
yeah, it means they have to arrange the scaffold for the safe L.
Safe access.
Yeah, safe access way.
Yeah, with the hanging scaffold on the structure for the access. Otherwise, people will take shortcut, people will jump from one area to another area, and there may be a.
So any methodology or methods in order to manage the platform, yeah, the temporary platform. Because after they install, they can put the temporary the platform, right? So how to manage, how to control, example for the task or any method in order to recognize.
First of all, we need to have a safety net below the structure. Safety net, and on the structure we can have a hanging access platform, like 2 meter wide or 1 meter wide with handrails. So one end to another end you have access, for example, right? And the both sides, left and right, you can erect and scaffold. You can start installing a grating. From this, for example, the white, this step, this is scaffold access. And here we have to put a grating here and another side, right? So you can isolate the area. For example, you are going to install grating this location. So you make a handrail, scaffolding handrail, right? And isolate the area. So this area you are today you are going to install a grating and put a anchoring arrangement so people can anchor. And secondary protection, you have a net. In case the safety anchor is fell, the secondary protection will be safety net. So any case if the grating falls or the person falls or material falls, it can be arrested in the safety net. So this is very critical activity.
But we must have the standard for the safety net because most of the safety net we can see in
Fishing net.
the
No.
ground, only the fishing net,
No, it's not good.
on the insect net, not
Yeah,
for
yeah.
people net.
We need to have a standard. We need to have a standard.
I
It should
remember
be
going to
approved
Rosa
safety net.
standard.
It should be approved safety net. And we have to even frequently change those safety nets because ultraviolet ray of the sunlight, after maybe 3 months, let's say, 3 to 4 months, it will break. If you drop the one bag of sand, we have done the drop test.
Yeah.
We have done the drop test in construction. We dropped the same bag from the 10-meter height, and it was arrested. And the old one we have done, which we have used 6 months, so it was breaking. So due to ultraviolet sunlight ray also, there is a change in material property. So we have to keep in consideration. Drop object also is one of the major the risk. Drop of material from the height in construction site, drop of loose material from height,
Too dangerous.
unsafe storage of materials, open edges, lack of tools lanyards. Tools lanyard construction we may not be able to see. Tools lanyard, but we will turn around and maintenance people are using, but in construction project we may not be seeing most of the places. Materials can drop during rigging and lifting. Like sometimes we have to lift in the box, wooden boxes, etc. So that time we have to see that because of the pressure from the lifting belt, the material and other things may drop. Container can damage. Scaffold is a major concern in construction and any maintenance industries. Without scaffold, we may not be able to perform almost anything. So the people, those who are engaged for scaffold erection, dismantling, they should have a good working knowledge. They should be trained properly. Poorly erected scaffold, many times you may see the scaffold is not ready, is having red tape, even the people will start working because they have a pressure, they have a job schedule to meet, weekly schedule, they have a daily schedule to complete the task. So sometimes people they are behind the schedule, they may take a shortcut. Don't wait for the complete scaffold and then start working on incomplete scaffold, overloading of scaffold in terms of people, in terms of materials. So that also we have to keep in consideration. Opening on platform, because many times what happens now, we have a full deck platform, but they have to do the piping erection. So if crane doesn't have a reach, they will use the chain block. So during the rigging process, the riggers themselves they will remove the board for the rigging, and when they finish the piping job, they will run away, and the opening will be remain as it is. They don't concern to put it back. So this kind of coordination is required. So what we have done, we put one scaffolding team with the rigger. So whenever you have to modify the scaffold, these two people permanently with you, they will remove the board and they will put the scaffolding back.
Yeah.
So every rigging game, those who are working on different elevation for piping erection, equipment erection, where there is a possibility scaffold modification is required, they should have one scaffolding team with them. So they will modify and they will put it back in place in order to perform a rigging activity.
But how to coordinate activities? Example, in the construction site, there are a lot of jobs, right? And so it's the team that required to remove the platform in order to do the lifting, do other activity. And so how to coordinate, how to manage, according to your experience?
Yeah. See, each rigging team, because all the rigging team may not be required to modify the scaffold, right? Potentially, the rigging team, those who are engaged for complex rigging, where the crane reach is not there, they have to use the chain pulley block and other method to rig the material at height. That particular area, the area supervisor or area engineer will decide that this is the complex rigging and he may require scaffold modification. So he will allocate 2 scaffolding members with the rigging team, and their job is to According to instruction from rigging supervisor, they will remove the scaffold and they will remain standby there. As soon as the rigging activity is finished, they will put it back.
So it's mean through the permit to work managed, right?
No, normally in the construction, permit to work is only for the hot work and
Also,
electrical work. But for the scaffold and other things, there is no PTW in the project.
in the project not apply.
Only for the hot work and electrical work.
Yeah. And how about the scaffold after the 1 week or 2 weeks, they need to extend? Normally, because many the scaffold will rest at the site,
Yeah.
so sometimes the people just write down the name and the time only.
Yeah.
So how to ensure that it's scaffold work? We have to organize another team to test or anything.
So in my experience, we were having a weekly inspection as we are having
Which net inspection?
weekly inspection. And in this green tag, if you can see the green tag, there should be a reference number. The reference number should be there on the green tag, and this reference number will be in the weekly checklist of the scaffolding, because every green tag should have a one checklist. What he has checked, and this checklist reference number should match with the green tag. So during audit, what we used to see, we used to take a note of some scaffolding tag reference number during audit. When we finish the site visit and we go to the contractor office and we ask, can you show me the checklist of this reference number? So then they will open the file and sometimes they are able to see, sometimes they say, sorry, we don't have checklist. That means they are only signing.
Yeah.
They are only signing.
Yeah.
the
This
green
side
tag.
Yeah,
and
I think it's
write the date.
Yeah.
For the documentation, even the checklist.
Yeah.
For documentation.
But many times you see the green tag is there,
Yes.
but handrail missing,
Yeah.
board missing. So we take again we take a reference number of this green tag and we say that green tag was issued, checklist was filled, but scaffolding was found unsafe. So we deduct the mark. That means system is not working. System is on the paper.
So we should define out the scaffold procedure.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah,
solution,
yeah.
right?
We should audit in the contractor office.
Yeah, because now we just see the signature and we don't know
Yeah.
exactly what
There
is
should be
it. What,
checklist.
We will
Yeah, sign only.
develop the checklist for weekly inspection.
yeah, we think it's
I will
better. And
I
also
can
the
work on
reference.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good, very good.
And it should
suggestion.
match. The reference number should match with this checklist. So whenever you go for audit, you take a note in your diary. Reference scaffold reference number 638, the reference number 578, and then you can ask, can you show me this checklist? If they have a checklist, or if you see any deficiency, you see what is the status of scaffolding. For example, handrail missing, but green tag, right?
Yes.
So you take a note of reference number and you ask for the checklist. When you see the checklist, they say handrails okay, board okay, access okay, but physically it is not okay. It is only okay in the paper maybe sometimes. So we can verify. Another thing is material handling. Material handling in various forms, like starting from small pipes and valves and spools to the heavy lift, bigger vessel, etc. So that also is one of the challenging tasks, particularly heavy lift. There should be proper heavy lift planning should be there.
Mr. Vimal, related to the lifting, I would like to ask you about the lifting plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah, in BSR, sometimes we request people that if you use the grant more than 100 tons, or if you use the 2 grand, but, in the construction side, according to your experience, what the type of the lifting required, the lifting plan, and what is the content of the lifting plan we need to consider?
Yeah. In my experience in last project, any lift more than 15 ton or use of more than 1 crane. If you use the 2 crane or the weight is more than 15 ton or the crane capacity loading more than 85%. When we use the crane capacity more than 85%, lifting plan is required. When we use the tandem lift, 2 crane, regardless of weight, when we engage the 2 crane, lifting plan is required. And when the weight is more than 15 ton. This was we followed in my last project. So I think this is fair enough. But what content is very important that we need to take into consideration like crane capacity, capacity loading. For example, capacity loading is very important. If we have a 10 ton capacity at 20-meter boom length, how many percentage of this 10 ton we are utilizing during the tandem lift? That calculation is as per the load chart that we need to verify whether the figures given by the contractor or maintenance department, whether it is true or not, whether the figures are matching or not. That HSE point of view that we need to verify. We have to see the load chart. I think working in confined space, all of are very familiar with this slide.
So in the construction side, normally what kind of the complaints like example, I think lack of oxygen is the most serious issue for the toxic gas. How is presented?
Confined space, normally you will not see the toxic gas, but confined space normally like a refractory application. Like if you have a heater, so after the fabrication work, there will be a refractory application inside, or the columns, when the columns are erected, the columns are the tray installation. This kind of work you will see when the project complete around 60 to 70%, then this kind of work will come. So that time mainly the light ventilation and working at height within the confined space.
Physical hazards
Yeah, physical hazards. That we need to
and
see.
the electrical design, right?
Electrical
Yeah,
hazards. Yeah, but toxic may not be.
Yeah.
Sometimes some vessels are preserved with the
Yeah.
nitrogen.
Yeah.
That we
Yeah.
have to be very, very careful because the vendor supplier they give equipment to us with preservation. So there will be, I think, definitely the warning sign should be there that this equipment is preserved with nitrogen. So when we open the first time, we need to make sure the ventilation continuously run. We need to do the atmospheric test, oxygen level, and other things to be verified, and then we have to permit the entry.
So another question related to ventilation fans.
Yeah.
Example for in DSR now we only allow the lower deck, right? Lower deck, or sometimes in some case we have the higher deck. But in construction side, what is the requirement for electrical for ventilation fan? Is put inside or at the manhole or is put outside with the dust?
Fan always remain outside of the confined space. Only the trunk,
Yeah,
the
the-
plastic trunk will go
Ah.
inside. But fan always remain outside, so it doesn't have issues of voltage. When you bring the fan inside, there may be issues of voltage. But if fan remain outside, there may not be issues of voltage. Because in order to have a heavy duty ventilation, you need a higher voltage. So the motor can run, RPM can be increased and you will have more wind airflow.
So outside it means that the maximum nearest is at the manhole. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even you can avoid, you can keep further away and you bring the plastic truck inside.
Yeah.
Orange color, spiral.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It is the best.
Yeah, but
Best
so,
one, yeah, best
because sometimes people say that okay with the diameter of the manhole, the ventilation volume is not meet the ACS air chain per hour because of the very big
Volume is
large,
very big,
volume.
So we need
So
to
I
have a
think
large,
it's,
bigger fan.
the bigger fan we use electrical but put outside. With,
Yeah. And bring the plastic truck
yeah,
inside.
but it's okay.
For confined space also, permit is required.
Yeah, but it's required. Yeah, for construction side.
Yes. Electrical safety is also a major concern because many times what happens, people have no awareness at all about electrical safety. The temporary electrical distribution boards, the layout of the cables, most of the time you see haphazardly. Many times underground cables, routed but no cable route marker. Even people don't know whether there is a cable or not. So electrical network in construction project should be very, very careful, particularly for main cables from the DG, from diesel generator. to the panel, 300 volts, 380 volts, 440 volts. Those heavy cables should be minimum 1 meter depth, and there should be cable route marker clearly every few meters.
How about hanging?
If you can, though it is better option, but in the construction you have to make a bridge or something because there is no existing structure. Okay, once your civil work is over, once you have a pipe rack ready, then you can fabricate some hook as hook on the pipe rack and you can bring it up. But initial stage, during the civil work, it is you have a plain complete ground, nothing. So you cannot hang it up. So you have to be
Normally they
rooted in the ground.
let down on the ground, not to be already in 1 meter there.
Yeah, and they put like this 100 or 200 mm, and then during excavation. So excavation, excavator operator don't know there is an electrical cable and they will cut the cable. So this kind of accident I have seen more than 5 or 6 in my last project. Even though we were doing audit, cable route marker, everything was there. Even though they don't see in the night, they for underground piping they have to do a lot of excavation. They don't even see whether route marker is there or not. And even route marker is there, get damaged, it will destroyed by some other water or other vehicle movement and so many things. So this has to be taken care of properly.
It is a very popular accident relating to the electrical setting.
If possible, if you have a good electrical network established at the initial stage by seeing, verifying the drawing, where you have excavation and where you don't have the excavation. The area where there is no possibility of excavation, you route the cable properly. So there is no chance of damaging cable. But if you route the cable haphazardly, and then everywhere you have excavation, and then cable will cut, there is a possibility of electrical short, losing power supply for certain hours, and then electric repair is required. So this kind of issue we will face. Hot work is also very important in terms of prevention of fire hazard because in the operating plant we have very good control on hot work. It's a running process plant, we have a permit to work in place and lot of other control measures we put to prevent the fire hazard. But in the construction project you will see everywhere hot work. In many places you will see combustible material around, no fire protection, hot sparks falling all the way from 20 meters to the ground. You can see all those kind of problems. And even if you have safety net, the sparks falling on the safety net, they don't remove the safety net before doing the hot work. So there will be so many concerns.
But how to control, example, in the operation plant, we have to give the fire blankets or something.
Yeah.
I think the construction site is applicable.
Yes, fire blanket, particularly at height, it has to be compulsory.
Yeah,
First,
commercially.
we need to have a scaffold platform. So, and on the scaffold platform, we can put a fire blanket so we can prevent spark falling further down.
Yeah, so give the fire blankets.
Yeah, we can put a fire blanket on the scaffolding to prevent the spark falling down. In addition to fire hazard, there will be a lot of other hazards like burn injury, so proper PT is required. Electrical hazard, proper earthing is required. This is also job earthing, particularly. They will take a shortcut. They will connect somewhere to the other nearby structure. Normally, when we do the welding, for example, I have to weld here. The earthing, job earthing should be somewhere here within 2 or 3 meters. But normally, if this pipe is resting on the structure and structure is going on the down, what contractor will do? This is the welding machine. He will bring the earthing and put it on the structure. They will not bring the cable up to the welding location because the cable is short and they have to save the time and they don't have enough length of cable. So they will take nearby and they start the welding. What will happen if the current take a return path? So the entire structure, the current will pass through the entire structure and then cable and then to the machine. So it is very important that job earthing should be within 2 or 3 meters.
2 or 3 meters.
Yeah, that we need to emphasize from HSC point of view, because for execution team they see the welding. I have to do today 100 inch diameter, or I have to finish the 10 joint today. This is his objective. So they may not be concerned about this, but safety point of view we have to monitor.
So you should be the 2 and 3 meter from the
Welding
where the
location. Yeah, welding location.
This time we also have some issue.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially welding the handrail.
Yes.
Welding the handrail, yeah. You can see, I remember.
So we have any standard of being not out of the experience of that practice.
No, it is even OSAS if you can refer. OSAS are also saying
OSAS
job
refer.
working.
Yeah.
Job working should be within 2 or 3 meters. Like gas cylinders. Gas cylinders also is one of the acetylene particularly. Acetylene and oxygen and other cylinders using for gas cutting.
Now,
That is
now
also-
in the plant we use the LPG for testing or sometimes do the welding. Yeah. It's acceptable. Or acetylene.
Acetylene is preferable. In LPG normally my last project they were not allowed LPG.
They're not allowed.
Yeah, LPG is for
Not
residential purpose. It's a cooking, not
Yeah.
industrial gas cylinder.
Mm.
It is for residence cooking
Yeah.
gas.
This is designed for cooking, right?
Yeah, cooking,
Yeah.
not for the hot work. So they are not allowed
So
acetylene.
is it possible if we provide it to you? Possible?
Yeah, if you can
Yeah,
use
so
the
we
acetylene,
require the acetylene
but I think
only.
acetylene is very costly compared to LPG.
Yeah.
So the contractor for economical to save money,
Yeah.
they will use the LPG. They don't use the acetylene. Acetylene is costly gas.
Mm.
And gas hoses also one of the major reasons for flashback, fire, and gas leak and other things. Gas hoses is very easy to damage during the construction because lot of work going on. The way they pass the gas hoses through the pipe racks, there are other activities are simultaneously going on. So there is a possibility of gas hose can damage by the spark generated during the gas cutting itself, or any drop object, or any materials and vehicles roll over the gas hoses. So there is a possibility of the hoses may get damaged. Proper connection of the gas hoses.
Yeah.
They should have a proper connection that we need to see.
Mr. Vimal, come back to the LPG cylinder.
Yeah.
So you say that LPG cylinder only is designed for cooking.
Yeah.
So at our refinery, we have some location to use LPG cylinder for pilot and the flare, the boiler.
Yeah.
It's acceptable.
For heating purpose, right? For heating, when they do the wrapping, that time LPG they're using that I have seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it is
LPG at
for wrapping of the
83,
pipes
yeah.
for the heating. Yeah.
But now
That
you
time,
add the pilot.
You add the pilot?
Add the pilot for spark.
Pilot for spark,
Yeah.
the flare.
The flare.
Flare, yeah, that is okay.
It's okay, right?
But that design for cooking, it means for in-house, not for outdoor.
It is for the flame because see, when you do the gas cutting, you need a certain pressure for the gas cutting. But when you do flaring, it's the same as a gas. For wrapping the pipe, wrapping and coating, they make it like a burner. So it's no pressure, it's just a free flow with the flame.
But I say that the design of that cylinder
For the
for in-house,
in-house, yeah.
but we use outdoor.
Yes.
For industrial.
Industrial purpose. Because for the in-house, the risk, the cylinder body itself is not designed to have other impact. Because in the domestic area, you don't expect any
Yeah.
major impact of falling object or other things. But in a running plant or in construction project, there is a lot of risk of falling object and other things. Impact. Radiography is also one of the major concerns when we start mechanical work, the piping, welding and other things. lot of coordination is required. Permit is also required for radiography. We need to have a HW test in order to be make sure that
Also require BTW.
yeah,
Okay.
because the coordination is very important. So with PTW, we can coordinate and we suspend other works. Once the radiography contractor reach to the construction, superintendent or construction area supervisor, so he will be aware that
Yeah.
today the radiography contractor is going to perform radiography from this time to this time at this particular location and what are the affected areas, how many meters job has to be suspended. So accordingly, when he issue the permit, he will take a note and he will coordinate with other contractors that tonight this area you have to stop the work. So this coordination is required.
In the operation plan, we have the Baga system. We can easy to notify all the people.
Yes.
In the construction site, the big
Then-
channel, right?
Yeah, big
And
challenge. Then we need to coordinate verbally,
Yeah.
telephone or by meeting, coordination meeting.
Coordination meeting. And now about the check at the site, they need to go around and patrol, right?
Yes, they need to check with the dosimeter.
Or dosimeter.
Dosimeter will give you
Measure, right?
measure. Yeah, dosimeter measure the radiation. How many meters the radiation is according to the survey, and also based on the strength of the radiographic source.
Yeah.
The radiographer can calculate how
The
many
distance.
meter distance the radiation is required. So the dosimeter is to just cross verify whether the calculation is correct or not. So and the radiography team should have a field batch. So they monitor the exposure on the weekly basis that a particular radiographer level of radiation is exposing. So these are the things we need to keep in consideration. Also during the night, in addition to the verification, the warning yellow light, flashing light also it is
Flash
mandatory.
light.
Flash light, mandatory because in the night time people may not see the verification clock, and so light is required to warn people. So after radiography, pressure testing is also one of the biggest hazard. Two type of pressure testing in radiography: pneumatic and hydro test. The pneumatic test is more dangerous than the hydro test.
Mm.
The hydro test is done with food like water, but pneumatic test is done with air. So air having more the compress, it can create a bigger pressure compared to the water. So that lot of things will be taken into the consideration. Before any pressure test, we need to see that the line is, I mean, all the flange joints are valves properly fitted as per the drawing. So there should be a line walk. There should be a line walk to ensure that all the bolts and flanges are in place, and then there should be complete thorough check by the pressure testing supervisor. We need to have a permit also for that. There should be a checklist, pressure testing checklist. In this pressure testing checklist, all things that we need to verify the barricades management, area verification, sign boards, and the availability of pressure gauge, the hose, the hip checks, the joints area. That these are the things that we need to keep in
It's
consideration.
called pneumatic test, right? Normally, as I know, it's a separate area with fencing surrounding, right?
Testing bay.
Yeah,
The
testing
testing
bay.
bay. If you are testing the particular spool, you can test, but entire line after the box up in the pipe rack, you have to do the entire line pneumatic test on the place. on the
Also,
pipe
outside
rack.
pneumatics, you cannot use hydro test, right?
Yeah, because some specification depending on the service of that particular line
Yeah.
during the process. So if you use the water, it may lead to issues of corrosion and water content remain inside. So pneumatic is strongly recommended for certain service line. So you have to do
Very
on the
dangerous job.
spot, yeah, on the spot, with complete line. This is also one of the QC requirement. for it to be before putting service in place. Those are tests needs to be done.
How many meters require set distance from the pneumatics? That area?
That depends on the pressure. The
Pressure.
exclusion
So
zone.
we have a calculation.
Yeah,
Regulation, right?
exclusion zone to be decided by the testing engineer.
Yeah. And also need to barricade like the radiography.
But
Yeah.
Barricade.
Barricades.
Okay.
you can see in Dushan.
Yeah, recent they have, but I just wonder if the contracting side is applicable.
Even soft barricades is acceptable. Hard barricades because practically not be possible because
But
you have
the-
a very large area you have to barricade.
But
So,
they require the team to walk and
Yeah.
test surrounding.
some if you have a pneumatic test with high pressure and very big line,
Yeah.
so in addition to signboard and barricades, you need to keep some people standby. So make sure that no unauthorized people are crossing. Because in construction you may have a lot of people. Normally this kind of test being done on Sunday or during the night time.
Yeah.
Non-peak hours.
Yeah.
Where the workers are very limited and the movement is very restricted during the holidays, Sundays, or during the non-peak hours like night time.
Yeah.
Same as regular.
But okay, for the first, but for barricades management, normally we don't know how far is we barricade.
That depends on the pressure. Testing engineer, they have to calculate the exclusion zone. So exclusion zone, they will give a calculation and sketch attached with the checklist or permit that this is the exclusion zone based on this calculation. So it is a responsibility of testing engineer to fill the checklist and this give the exclusion zone. How many meters to be verified before they start the testing. They have to approve the checklist.
Normally outside now when the president in the general barricade, how high is the barricade?
Then I think we have to make a standard. The checklist and
I remember in our
In
church,
required.
our
Yeah,
procedure,
procedure.
we have mentioned
Yeah.
the space how to verify.
Next. So as we were discussing that the difference between construction and operation plant, particularly in terms of HSE. I am very fortunate that I have an opportunity to work in different industries.
Yeah.
Like I started with construction, refinery, then I moved to the train operation and maintenance heavy department. I work in offshore drilling upstream. I work in CPR vessels, CPR ship repair and protein production, LNG, FPSOs. And then I had the opportunity to work in refinery operation with you all. So all people are not lucky as me. I am very fortunate, very lucky to feel very lucky to gain this experience. So in the construction side, we have a complexity of site like multiple contractors and works. So many contractors, all kind of contractors. At the peak time, you will see the contractors, civil contractor, you will see the mechanical contractor, structural contractor, piping contractor, painting, insulation, instrument, electrical, cable tray installation. So many things. If in one pipe rack, you can see the 10 contractors. Some are doing underground pipe work, some are doing civil work, some are doing piping erection, some are doing welding, some are doing structural erection, cable tray installation at the top, cable pulling, cable laying, so many multiple activities. But if you see in the operation, we have well organized, better control, limited contractors, permanent contractors, almost permanent workers, except the turnaround. So it's well organized and better control. CMOP operation we cannot avoid in construction, but mostly avoided in operation. Only turnaround we may see CMOP operation, but that also we have a good supervision, good HSE monitoring with coordination. We have a toolbox talks and permit to work system. CMOP also can be controlled with PTW, right? If somebody is doing painting here, so I say that if I am a PTW coordinator, I will not issue permit for hot work. because I have given for painting permit for this. So with PTW you can avoid this CMOS, but in contract in project in construction site sometimes you may not be able to see.
So you have any procedure to manage the CMO?
We need to have a CMOS coordinator. If we don't have a CMOS coordinator, then we need to do with good supervision, HSE supervision, execution supervision.
Because if we apply these things, then
I think it's very important. The
CMOS
last
coordinator
round
is
is
for
phase.
each time, normally tomorrow work, today is the project of meeting one. You have to chair the meeting,
Yeah.
maybe CMO,
Yeah.
CMO ability. But actually now we find we don't have that ability. Before
Normally,
tomorrow, today we have to organize the CMO.
For example, what happened in the project? Somebody is doing excavation work for underground pipeline. Somebody is doing above ground pipeline piping erection. So safety will come. Safety say I will not allow to work underneath. He will say I will work. So if you say above ground piping people to stop the work, they will not stop. So if we have a CMOX coordinator, he will coordinate with the construction manager and decide the priority. Which one is a priority, above ground or underground? Depending on the scope of work, he will decide the priority and one job can go ahead. Or if both has to be go ahead, some other additional safety precaution measure may require.
But I think for the CMOS, we can control by the detailed schedule.
Very difficult.
Yeah, you have to schedule the work, but the CMO is the location, right?
And the detail of the job. Yeah.
But our plan also.
Micro planning is very difficult to in construction.
Example, in package 3 during turnaround, we have the grand job, and then there is some welding activity.
In construction, we control by supervision and HSE monitoring mostly. But in the process, we control by the system like PTW, isolation, and so many other safety procedures.
We still apply the
For limited work, for not all work. For limited work, like I mentioned, for work, but not all the work.
So the question, in case now we have a big bang project,
Yeah.
so we apply permission work for all, or we just
Not
apply
for all. Not for all.
difficult already?
Difficult.
each time they define it, apply the principle.
But
the
say-
outside
but
But in outside also for work you need to have a permit. For confined space you need to have a permit. For electrical working in live electrical system you need to have a permit.
I mean that during our expansion projects,
Yeah.
outside the battery is the stock of the protector.
Yeah.
You are
the owner. You are the owner. You have legally you are responsible.
But our role and responsibility is limited for the outside the battery. Inside you can get where not go inside.
Yeah.
Inside battery limited. But the outside is we involve not deeply.
Yeah.
Yeah, meeting or something like that, and we assign the one or two cities.
But project team will be more responsible. Project execution team. It depends on them to what procedures they follow. They will have a separate procedure or they follow your operation procedure. Because normally they should have a project execution.
Yes, I understand it. They have to follow that.
They should have a separate procedure for the project.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it depends in their procedures. If they have incorporated this requirement, then they have to follow. If they have not incorporated in HSE management system, then they will not follow.
So, Mr. Vimal, so in your construction reverse plan, so if they not apply the whole permit work, so how to control the critical work like such as scaffolding work?
Scaffold is very common in very common. You will see thousands of scaffolding work. So
No need to apply.
not possible.
So
So
in,
for grand work,
No need. For the project, no need. But there will be a checklist. I told you there will be a checklist.
only checklist
Yeah.
and lifting plan or
Yeah.
some certificate,
Yeah.
certificate for lifting work, that's all.
Yes, that's all. Yes.
So this is the reason why a lot of accidents in the reaching the protection.
Yeah. And then, if you talk about construction, there is a multiple task and multiple hazard, from low severity to high severity. But in operation, we have limited task and very specific hazard, like fire, explosion, toxic gas release. Uh, but in the project, every stage, the new stage, you have a new hazard. When we start the civil work, we have a limited hazard. Civil, when you enter, the moment you enter to the mechanical phase, you introduce the new hazard. Then, the moment you enter to the commissioning, you have again different hazard. So throughout the project, as the project progress, we introduce new hazard. So we need to have a better HSE management system in place to control the hazard. Like in construction, fall from height, electrical hazard, traffic, these are the common hazards. As we say that in the process, we have a very specific fire, explosion, high pressure, high temperature, chemical hazard. Yeah, the consequences are bigger. The risk is limited, but the consequences are bigger. Lack of HSE commitment from the execution leaders in the city many times because they have a lot of pressure from the top management to execute the job and meet the target. So, but comparatively better commitment from the leaders in the process plants normally. More focus on job progress. In operation, we have more focus on the safety of process and people. That is always priority. Lack of medical facility, emergency response many times in construction project we may face. So we need to make sure that the good medical facility and emergency response are ready to face in case of any unplanned event that happen. But in compared to construction in operation, we have a better medical facility, good emergency response plan, emergency response team, considering the process hazard and legal requirements also, because we have a legal requirement also demand. Least compliance to legislative requirement, we have a comparatively good compliance to legislative and government requirement in process industries. Next. So these are the two last slides. We are going to discuss that. What are the key skills required for sound HSE professional? We all are HSE professionals, right? But all the five fingers are not same.
Yeah.
Yes.
So every individual is a different. Every single individual is a different. No two persons are equal in this world. So hazard identification and reporting. If you are HSA supervisor, this is the basic skill you need to have a hazard identification and reporting. So how can you identify the hazard? What are the things required which will help you to identify the hazard? First, to become a familiar with your HSE management system and requirements. It's very important. You should thoroughly read all your procedures, maybe 2, 3 times, all the procedures, and remember the key points where in terms of critical activity, confined space, welding, working at height, the contractor management, auditing, inspection, electrical safety, these are the key items you should have in your fingertips requirement. If somebody asks you at night 2 o'clock, you can wake up and explain. These are the BSR requirement directly to you. So how to manage the people? Because everyone is a different. Every people has a different character. Some people have a hard-working personality. Some people have a lazy personality. Some people have a different personality. They work according to the situation. So you have to identify the people and manage them accordingly. So that is also people management is a very big skill. Every management person should have.
So, Mr. Vimal,
Yeah.
for this, for the audit and we report, so I have a question that if another division, maintenance production, they have the product, but safety, we only have a report, how to make our report evaluation. Like that, we have the biometric chart, that's
Yeah.
how many near miss lead to the accident. So, we how we can start it, how many our standards, unsafe action, unsafe condition, be observation by our safety team. If we don't find out that unsafe condition or unsafe action,
Yeah.
will lead to the near miss and will lead to the
Yes.
incident.
Correct. This is the base where you have to extinguish from the base. So hazard identification and reporting is must.
But
So-
but how we show our real product for the other division to make them thinking more
Yeah.
about
We
safety,
need
not
to
our
understand,
not
yeah.
our only see our report, they will get angry only.
No.
Why? That's very simple. You have to report.
Yeah.
I don't want to this.
See, we need to have a hazard identification reporting trend analysis.
Yes,
End of the
yeah,
month.
yes.
Yeah.
By the
Yeah.
effective number.
Yeah, end of the month, you
Yeah.
have to do
Yeah.
the trend analysis,
Yeah.
contractor wise, area wise,
Yeah.
hazard wise, and then when you have a committee meeting,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you present
Yeah.
and ask the concerned person, make the responsible, let our VP, make a question to the department or contractor manager. My HSE team is identified this many of hazard in the month. Where is your people? We need to see from it because HSE is from helping hands. HSE is not the execution team member. HSE is not one the executing task. The primary aim, primary responsibility of execution team to identify and control the hazard, not the safety. Safety is we have to advise and assist
Yeah.
when
Yeah,
it
we
is
only-
required.
That's by
We only seek them how to improve the hazards identification.
Yes.
But now our job is to found the hazard.
Hazard, but we have the analysis, we have to show them the trend or scenario.
That
They
Yeah.
must be. For example, we show the one simple case, it's very simple, but when we give the fact and
Yeah,
figure,
if we deep analyze it for that activity, it must happen.
Then solution oriented personality. We have to give the solution because see, there is no problem without solution. So when you identify something, before highlighting or reporting, think about how to correct it and whether is it safe, whether is it acceptable or not. So once you have a solution, then you report and you suggest the correction. Because otherwise what impression we'll have that being as HSC supervisor or HSC department, we are reporting the problems and highlighting the problems only, but not giving the solution. This kind of personality or image should not be there. We have to help them to implement our recommendation.
So related
To hand to hand.
Yeah, this is idea. We have a some problem example when the maintenance they give they are working solution. Okay, in order to save the time and to save the money or something.
Yes.
And so we at the point of view of the study we said that okay, it's not safe for work because it's not compliant with the regulation or something. But they asked us, okay, if you're not allowed to do this one, what is the solution? Give the solution. And they said that okay, if you suggest that solution, it consumes more money, and so you have a responsible to report to the management level. And so this is
The commercial part, HSC cannot be responsible because HSC management system approved by the management,
Yeah.
by the CEO, for example. So who is responsible? You can say that I am not one the demanding something outside of the HSC management system. I am just asking you to follow the procedure. I am not asking you to stop the work or spend the more money. I am asking you to follow the procedure, the one approved by our management. So our management cannot blame you or me to be, responsible for delay or more expense, because we are not asking them to spend more money or spend more time or stop the work. We are asking to follow the procedure approved by the management. Right?
Mr. Vimal, like the story, we have the procedure for using the critical bag for using claim for working at time. We require many times, but the contractor not comply. But one accident happened when the bag falling down to the ground, and we have an accident happen. Now they give the critical back. It means that they think everything is normal, but accident happen. They must keep thinking. But
Yes. There must be make a liable, or there should be a question from the higher management. If you don't question, then they think they are not responsible, or they think this may be acceptable. So they must be make responsible when something goes wrong. Then passionate to the work and our job role. This is also very important. See, many times people work, okay, I get salary, I work 8 hours, but we have to be very passionate to our role. We must proud what we are doing, because we are saving the life of the people, right? So we have to be very passionate to our work, very honest to our work, job role. Coordinating with others is also very important, because sometimes we may have many contractors, many HSC professionals, so we have to coordinate with many departments, starting from our own department to down the line to the contractor, main contractor, then subcontractor, executing people, HSC people. Lot of coordination is required. So we need to have a good coordinating skill. Emotional intelligence, as I told you, no? When you catch somebody, people will try to, emotionally blackmail you, or say, oh, I am very poor, they will cut my salary, they will do this, that. But we have no stress for emotional. We are here to protect the people and protect the plant, right? This is our job role, to advise and assist with no emotional attachment. Whether the poor or rich man, we don't see from that angle. For financial angle or for morality angle, okay. But our job is to identify the weaknesses and suggest improvement. So we have to be very honest to our role. No emotional touch sometimes. Because when it comes to the safety compliance, one negligence can destroy the plant. One negligence can kill somebody. One negligence can take away the life. One spark can destroy the plant. So no compromise with.
So for the one I give you one example.
Yeah.
That is in our refinery we have policy that if someone is putting the cigarette and the lighter into the refinery, we need 50 million Vietnam dong into fine penalty, and that's for people is dismissed permanently. It's not allowed to our refinery employer, right? So we turn around, we have a lot of cases like that. We are in the punishment position for the EMC people, they on worker, right? They on bring the ladder, show the security, the catch, and he believes that it is unintentional, right? Unintentionally. So with our people, we can make the report or statement, something like that. And and our procedure, we have to send the warning letter, notification to the contractor that we will punishment and not allow these people at the refinery. But at that time, so many people come to me, from the his spot. His spot operate that to be the lot 50 million Vietnam dong, right? And his brother and put to be that we not allowed to refinery. He don't know how to earn the living.
Money.
When the money and he have a wife, he have a children. So I have a miss that situation. With the accident alone, that's the regulation.
Yes.
We have to follow the procedure.
But you should say, he should think all these things before bringing lighter to the refinery. He should think, I have children, he should think, I have a wife, he should think, if I don't allow to enter in the refinery, where I am going to earn. All these things should think before bringing lighter to the refinery. Now you already catch and now. So I think our regulation also should be like this. See, if you found inside the premises, then definitely 50 million, even 100 million. But if stop on the gate. So this is also just not entering, it is still outside. You have stopped on the gate, he has not entered.
Yeah.
But
If-
normally
But if you catch on the gate, there should be warning letter or maybe minimum 1 week blacklist or something should be there, not permanently on the gate, which is still outside the boundary, on the border, right? It is still on the green zone, not on the red zone. If he passed through the security and somebody you catch in RFCC any unit smoking or utility or some area 1 or 2, yes, definitely 50 million. But on the gate, we have catch him, there should be maybe 1 week blacklist or maybe 1 million, 2 million, some minimum penalty should be there on the gate. But inside should be more.
Because we
But,
put
no,
us in
but in
the red line, right?
The
Yeah, we only
security
do
thinking,
one or
but
two.
the security thinking, they said that if we not catch outside the gate, it means that he can bring inside the refinery and he can give anywhere, anytime without our supervisor. So it means that
Because we try to put
yeah.
between jet on our only, right?
But Mr. Hong, he had many
Requests.
different things.
Yeah.
Because not the DMC, not the Vietnamese worker,
Yeah.
but in the turnaround we had the Korean supervisor. He bring the cigarette and lighter through the A5 gate, but he, the manager of QA/QC, or it means that he the VIP people
Yeah.
person. So we cannot.
So next now we have to consider
Yeah.
verify
Yeah,
the
on the
suitable
gate,
with
on the gate,
the
we
face.
have a limited penalty, but somehow
No
on the
more
gate, then
different.
finished. It
if
should not be
you
a
turn around, we get 2 billion Vietnam đồng
good.
or the penalty.
You can use for the bonus
That's
for
again.
worker welfare facility for the worker. Safety
2
or
billion. 2 billion. And after negotiate, we reduce to 1 million.
but you can use it for safety award of the worker, safe worker. Give some token, t-shirt, cap, some motivational thing.
Yeah.
Which friend another 500 million Vietnam đồng.
So you have to make a policy, the money come from this thing should be used for the motivating the workers.
It means that we clear the policy
Yeah.
to using the penalty.
Yeah. For the
Money.
motivational of the safe worker. Because one way you are giving punishment to the violators, another way the
We
income
use that
comes
for
from
bonus,
the
for
use for to
sanitation.
promote the safe working practice. Then judgment and decision making, because as we discussed, that many times it happens during the meeting, top management during the project execution may come and call you that okay, we have one problem now, that these are our requirements, but we cannot comply or we need some relaxation. So we need to have a good judgment and decision making. Sometimes immediate decision is required, there is no time. So we have to be always updated and we have to fix our border line, how much can we give relaxation in terms of safety, that also should be in our mind. Service orientation, right? Service orientation means what I mean to say that
Now.
sometimes we are like a service provider. But sometimes people have an image that safety department is like a police. They are working like a police. Many times our management also said in the meeting that safety is working like a police, but it is not a fact. We are not working like a police, but they have an impression that we are working like a police. So we have to create an image that we are sometimes service orientation. We are a service provider also sometimes. But whenever they need help, we are ready to help them. Acknowledge and appreciate. This is also a very important thing. You know, when somebody is doing a good job, your subordinate or your colleague or sometimes contractor or sometimes our department people, when they are doing the good job, you must appreciate and acknowledge. Because this will motivate him to do better and better in future. Because if you only pointing out the fault of the people, then sometimes they may demoralize and sometimes they may not be continue doing the better work. So it is always you acknowledge the good work and appreciate the people for the doing the good job. Even contractor, when we go during the audit, we capture some good practice also, right? And we appreciate these are the good things going on. We request them to continue in a good mood and safe work. Similarly, if we see some workers working at height, having full body harness, safe access, good compliance, barricade management, permit, then we can appreciate. We can say, well done, good job, continue working, I am happy to see you working safely. So, okay, it's not cost you anything. It's just your courage, which you show to the worker. And so next time he will say hello to you. So this is the way we build the relation.
Yeah.
You know, because many times what happens in the project, lot of unsafe materials, for example, is left by the civil workers, rebar, scrap at the pipeline. They finish job and they go. The mechanical people came. When you go for audit and inspection, you ask, oh, this is a loose material, it's a rebar. If this fell down, this can kill somebody. We have to remove this. But he will say, I am the vendor. This is the belongs to civil.
Yes.
I will not remove, you told them. So if you have a good relationship with the people, even with the worker, we need to have a good relationship with even the worker. When they have done some good job, you say, well done, good job. Or in the toolbox talk, sometimes we talk, where are you living, how you are coming, how is the job, how is it. So he will feel a good personal touch with you. When you say, okay, this is belongs to civil, but Vimal sir, you are saying to remove, I will remove it, no problem.
Yeah.
So in the project I faced so many things like this, and I learned, because we learn from experience, you know. In many times in Indian culture, I don't know in Vietnam, if there is any fatality, for example, people will gather, 20,000, 30,000 people, holding the rebar in hand, they will start beating the supervisor, they will start beating the manager, even green helmets, the people wear green helmets in India, they will find the green helmet and beat, because they have very angerness for you, because of sometimes we shout on the people for compliance, we give order, we make a fear factor to the worker, so they hate you. They don't like you. They wait for they wait for the opportunity. When there is an accident, there's a good opportunity. Let's beat this guy. He is showing us too much regulation, too much rules. Right? So we have to be very, very friendly with the workers. We make a good factor for our own safety, you know. So these are the things, and flexibility. Flexibility also, I said that we need to be flexible also sometimes, to give an impression to management that we are flexible, we are ensuring safe execution of the project, safe running of refinery, but meanwhile we are flexible. When help is required, we are ready to help, we are helping them. That image also we need to create.
Okay. The word flexibility has many meanings.
Yeah.
It means that you find out the unsafe, you correct it for them, but flexibility, not reward. Not flexibility.
That is not possible.
In our tolerance.
Reporting is must, you can say. I can help you to correct it, I can show the before and after, even loose material, I don't mind. I can remove by myself if I can. I don't want help anybody. But reporting is must. We cannot escape from reporting, because we need to generate the record. We need to build the platform to talk to the management, right? If you don't report, you don't have a record, and tomorrow somebody will blame you. That you didn't monitor, HSE department, you are sleeping, you are not monitoring. So if you don't report and don't record, there will be no escape way for you, or there will be no forward path for you. Because if we identify, analyze, and then we find the root cause, and then we set the corrective measures and preventive measures. It will decide the forward path. If we don't identify, don't report and don't record, we will not have a forward path. So hazard identification and reporting is must. No compromise in this.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Vimal, for your very good presentation, and you also share with us a lot of experience. Because the time limit, you have to back to the Van Tường at 11,
Right.
and so we stop our discussing today, and I hope that we will have some more session with your presentation.
Right.
And again,
So,
thank you very much. Yeah.
I'm always available because knowledge is for sharing.
Yeah.
If you keep the knowledge in your mind, it will spoil. So I don't want my knowledge to spoil, because in this discussion I also learned many things from you also, and I also recalled my memory of the things which I have done 10 years ago, 15 years ago. If I don't discuss, I don't remember. So his knowledge is always for sharing, and I am always available for you 24 into 365 anytime.
Okay, thank you very much.